Top of the morning to you, or afternoon or evening, whenever you may be watching. My name is Scott. I represent the SL and Game Slam.
I'm Austin. I'm the AM.
And today we wanted to take you behind the scenes to a little bit of a chat about how we got into collecting. Just how our gaming experience was as kids and how that sort of kept evolving. Maybe had some bumps in the road and ended up getting to a point where we had amassed collections like this.
So I started off getting a hand-me-down Super Nintendo from my grandpa. 5, 6 years old maybe even 4. But we had Link to the Past, we had Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, and my parents just set it up in the basement and I'd go down there and play.
The first memories. For me and my brother, it was an NES. We got that when I was only like 3 or 4. So I spent most of my time watching others play, whether it was my older brother or a babysitter. But my parents got it from a used garage sale. And my favorite game on the NES was Star Tropics. I highly recommend that to anyone who has not played it. Staple for the console. We also had Super Mario Bros. 3, Mega Man 6, and a couple other games, Duck Hunt. And that was my first experience with video games. But my first experience with like a current console at the time was the Game Boy Color. So where'd you go from SNES?
So I either went to N64 first, but I think I also went to the Game Boy Color first. Got it for Christmas. I'm not sure how old I was, but I know I had Pokemon Red and I just played the heck out of it.
Pokemon Red was my first Game Boy Color game as well, and my brother got Blue, and yeah, that was the first time we could be like both playing at the same time. And I'm sure anyone who's played it back in those days remembers the joys of like a long car ride when you had that game. But then the N64 was the next console for my brother and I. And I think the common thread we're getting here is we were pretty Nintendo exclusive people growing up in that late 90s, early 2000s period.
Yeah, we ended up getting an N64 too. I think we might have had the Pokemon Stadium set.
That's what we had.
I'm not sure.
The Battle Pack.
I know we had the game with it, so that's what we played a lot. And we got DK64, but we couldn't figure out how to play it because we didn't know you had to put the expansion pack in.
Well, it's funny because we couldn't figure out Pokemon Red and Blue because we didn't know you had to save. Because in the NES, besides Star Tropics, you just played the game. Like Mario Bros. 3, there's no save state. You just have to play through the game. So we would just play like the beginning of the game more, time and time again. But one thing that was really cool about those days was when you get to go to a friend's house and like try out a different console that you didn't have. For me, I remember a friend who had the PlayStation 1, another friend had the Dreamcast, and it was cool to just pick up a controller you've never held before and just try a completely new multiplayer experience.
Yeah, and your friends having different games. So we were talking about it earlier. My cousins had... We were on the poorer side, so if we got a game, it was birthday or Christmas. But my cousins, they had some more money, so their parents bought them tons of games. So if I wanted to play Mario Party on the 64, we'd have to go over there. If I wanted to play Smash Bros, we'd have to go over there. So on and so forth.
I do think, though, because we didn't get games all the time either, my brother and I, it made it extra special when you did get a game, though. And it's certainly different now in our retro collecting side of things, but...
And the fact that we're adults, we can buy as many games as we want.
That's true.
Not that we should.
No, it was really cool. And our sort of cross perspective, like your cousins, for my brother and I, our cousins really got into the PlayStation 1. After the 64, they preferred the Sony route. And so they actually were the ones who gave my brother and I Mario Kart 64 and Super Mario 64.
Suckers.
There might have been a third game as well. But those were incredible games, and it was fun though going to their house and trying out Crash Bandicoot and Spyro.
Yeah, and then we got to the next era. It was GameCube, PS2, Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And then our mutual friend Alex, he had the original Xbox. I went over there, played it. I liked it so much that I wanted one too, so I got one for Christmas, having already had the GameCube.
And I was still just Nintendo exclusive until the Xbox 360. So I was never really one to be into the first-person shooters and those kind of titles, but it happened to be in that era, like 2008, 9, 10, where just all my friends were playing those games. So I ended up getting the Xbox 360 just to share in that multiplayer with them.
Backtracking a little bit, I'm sure we both got the DS around the times that they came out.
Oh yeah.
So I remember playing that stuff too. And then, like you said, Xbox 360. At this point, we're both kind of falling out of gaming, I think.
Yeah,
not really.
Sure.
I definitely at this point I wasn't really touching my older stuff, but I hadn't gotten rid of any of it. But everybody's playing Call of Duty, so in high school you playing Call of Duty too.
And I think what we haven't even touched on, which is a part of that problem, was the Nintendo Wii just didn't quite deliver the way I thought it might. It was more on the gimmicky side of things. We had fun with Wii Sports, and there's WarioWare, but besides Smash Bros. Brawl and Mario Galaxy...
And Mario Kart Wii too.
Mario Kart Wii was great, but I still preferred Double Dash. And, Zelda Skyward Sword, I didn't love compared to some of the others. So the Wii almost, it was at the point where I'm going into high school and I need this staple Nintendo console to keep my gaming, passion going. And I just didn't quite get that. So I went more into the shooters and the sports titles of Xbox for a while.
I forgot to even say that I had a Wii too. Just those couple games like Mario Galaxy and Mario Kart Wii, that's what I played, and then I would mostly just use it to play my GameCube games, to be honest. But eventually fell out of that, and like I said, got into the Xbox 360. So that's just what you did.
And it's funny thinking now, because I would say the valley of my gaming passion was coming out of that Wii, DS, Xbox 360 era, when like the Xbox One first came out and the Wii U. I never bought a Wii U. I don't have a Wii U. And that was the point where I was going to college, and I had convinced myself at that point that as an 18-year-old, I was content with what I had, and I was pretty sure I was kind of just ready to play those games going forward.
This is pretty much where it falls on me. So I was out of gaming, really, and I was going to college too. My first year I lived on campus, had a bunch of friends, hung out all the time. We actually did play a lot of N64, so that kind of might have been the first spark. We were always playing Smash Bros. Every night. And then my sophomore year, I didn't live on campus, so I was just kind of left with go to school, come home, do my homework, work every now and again. I was just kind of bored. I didn't really have anything to latch on to because I'm not passionate about doing schoolwork, and that's all I really did. So it just kind of was on YouTube a little bit, and I found Scott Squatch. Maybe if you're watching this video, you've heard of him before. He does a lot of yard sailing and flea market stuff. And I was watching him just because I was kind of interested in going to garage sales. I didn't really know that he was into retro gaming. I was just there for the garage sailing stuff. And I watched him a lot, and just kind of the recommendations from his videos got me crossing over to some other guys. And what I touched on first was Retro Liberty, if you guys have heard of them. Now they're Pixel Game Squad. Long story about the change, but still, that was a great channel. And then that's really what got me into collecting. It was just like, okay, here they are going after all these games, and it's collecting now. So I had all these games from my childhood, but I just considered it as, I have all these games, sweet. But then it's like, I look at them now, it's like, I'm collecting too, technically.
Yeah, it was really like a transformation to this new hobby, and not many people had done it before, but because of that YouTube platform, people were able to connect over it. And I was a later bloomer than Austin to it.
I had just started dabbling in it, and I was like, this is amazing. It's holding my interest. I'm so passionate about it now, but I'm looking over to some of my friends that I'm interacting with, because we went to different universities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, hey, look at this. It's like, yeah, okay. Hey, look at this. Okay. It's like, okay, you know what? I need someone to share this with. Hey, Scott, check this out. and I showed him Retro Liberty first off, and I was like, here's the deal. We've known each other for a long time. We've grown up together playing these games.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to watch this. If you can watch 3 episodes and not like it, you know what? That's perfectly fine.
That was the deal.
But I want you to watch just a few episodes and tell me what you think.
Yeah, and that came at a really good time for me, because that was the end of my second year of college. I had the Xbox, like the sports titles, shooters era, like I said I had been playing, had grown completely stale. And that year, I actually picked my GameCube back up, and I played through Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and I was like, this game is awesome! Like, what have I been doing with these, like, NHL games? And so I was reliving some of my GameCube games I had played like one time, and then comes that summer where we're back hanging out again. He presents Retro Liberty. I was in this internship where like I wasn't doing anything, so I started watching Retro Liberty, and they were just the kind of guys that like you could see yourself hanging out with, and you could tell they enjoyed the collecting so much. Not only finding games of value, but just games to try out, see if they're fun, and kind of compete with each other. I think that was a cool aspect. And the other thing I want to say is Austin was the one who got me Star Tropics in box. Like, this isn't the original title I had, but he knew that was my weak spot, and that was what put me over the edge to get an NES again.
So at this point in time, I have shown Scott all these videos. I'm really into this.
The propaganda has been
slowly starting to get
digested.
Into it. I get him that game just like he said, and he's like, yeah, I think I like that. But yeah, I'm just watching all these videos. I'm watching other channels too, shortly after I discovered the Game Chasers. And it's just, I'm watching these guys do this stuff. I'm watching them pick up all these games, and for me, I'm discovering a lot of them for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So my interest is really peaked, and about this time I start going to garage sales, I start going to thrift stores, and I start going to flea markets. And it was probably two years before I got good at it. I just went out, I didn't know what to say, I was just kind of shooting in the dark, watching some more videos.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
I'm picking up tips from these guys, and I'm slowly building a collection. And then I just get into it, and the ball starts rolling. And then I learn what to do.
And what I think is kind of funny is if you guys want to see this exact stage we're talking about, where we were just starting to get into it, it's actually when we launched the channel. So you'll see that I was more into the YouTube content that was doing Let's Plays and competitive Pokemon leagues, and I also watched Retro Liberty and some of those, but it wasn't like my primary content. And so when we launched the channel, you'll see like very mediocre Let's Play content from me and our original like Mission Nostalgia videos, NES Nostalgia. There's some deals that we thought were really good that were not great deals.
Yeah. But at that point, I was a novice, and
I was even below that.
You weren't even at that point yet. But I could definitely say I'm an expert at this point. But like you were saying, there's this clear division between us. I am all about collecting, and he is kind of about collecting, more about the Let's Plays and stuff, which I like that stuff too. I'm the collector. He's more the...
I think that works well. I think that really works well. And like for me, what I like about those videos that Austin was talking about, where we were seeing these games and being introduced to these games that we've never even heard about before in some cases, it was just like, wow, there's so much more out there than I thought. Like, again, it comes down to me growing up Nintendo exclusive. I know the staples of Nintendo, but I have no knowledge of what the PlayStation really had to offer, or the Xbox. So that's what's been so cool, is being able to like
Branch out.
Yeah, for sure.
So at this point, I'm starting to collect. I'm learning about all these new games. And this is where I learned about PS1 stuff. I learned about PS2 stuff. I'm getting into Sega stuff. It's just a whole new world.
Yeah, and I was later to that phase as well, because it was more like getting myself to justify like the finances of it, which I hate to say, but it was kind of like I didn't want to go big. I wanted to just get a game here and there, and by all means I don't go full on getting the bundles and selling the extras like Austin does so masterfully. But for me, I've definitely started to get the collection going a little bit more, because when we first started even doing Mission Nostalgia, I never envisioned I would have any sort of game room, but it just became something where when you continue to do it and you continue enjoying it, I think that's the biggest part. You come to a point where you're like, wait a second, I have more than I thought I had, when you've been, again, enjoying it.
It takes years to really build a good collection, but for Scott, at what this time period we're talking about right now, he wasn't fully committed.
Right.
So like what he's saying, when I was really branching out, he didn't want to invest into stuff. So I was kind of leaving a small trail of breadcrumbs, like, hey Scott, Merry Christmas, have this.
Yeah.
Here's a good deal on this, buy that.
No, that for sure like got me going though, because like the Genesis, I was like, I don't know anything about this, like I wouldn't really want to spend money on it. And then Austin just got me a Genesis, and it's like, oh, this is sweet. Like Phantasy Star is one of my favorite RPGs now. And same with like the PlayStation 1 and 2 and the Dreamcast. Like, this guy is a saint, and it's been so fun to try these different experiences. And it's funny now that I've sort of come to this level in my gaming experience where when I try some of these older consoles, like the Dreamcast for example, that isn't even necessarily nostalgic for me, I still can view it objectively and not think that it's old. It's just, we've embraced the culture so much that we enjoy kind of from top to bottom what it has to offer.
Simply put, a good game's a good game. And nowadays, what's driving our want to collect is that we're not seeing good games like we used to back in the day. It's just like a lot of copy and paste, I feel, which kind of drove me towards
3 letters, DLC.
Yeah, 3 more letters, COD, Call of Duty.
There you go, man. I really feel like that too, and we certainly sound like the old talking heads, you know, the old man in the room, but like Austin said, a good game is a good game. You know, like Austin said, I wasn't really invested for a while, but he can tell like I've kind of taken that next step, and like
he's pretty
I'm
much
ready
picked
to
up
go.
the last breadcrumb that
it's like, Dad, let me go, please. So we're excited to see where it continues to go. We have some plans for like how we can transform this game room too. This is very much like a rough draft, but I can only imagine what Austin's game room is going to look like someday.
Yeah, so
Be a museum.
So pretty much, I am in dental school right now. I'm living in a small apartment. I can't really display all my stuff, so everything is packed away in boxes at my parents' house. So I'm not done collecting. I'm sort of just displaying in my apartment what I want to play, and then I'm putting everything else away to eventually display when I get my own house.
And what's cool about that too is you'll probably get to kind of rediscover like some of the stuff
Yeah,
that's been packed away.
So we're gonna definitely be making some videos whenever I'm ready to set up a game room. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be filming Scott, and I'm gonna say like look through this box and show everything.
Oh my gosh, is that Mario World?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember.
And then pretty much at the rate that the market is going, the stuff's gonna be worth so much more at that point in time that might make it even cooler.
I think, yeah, it's really, it's cool that we've come to this point, like after taking you all through that full arc, how we kind of went through some bumps in the road, but we're at this point now when it's like we're enjoying this hobby.
I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I'm probably close to that.
Yeah, you're at the point where I sort of was when I first started collecting. Now you feel comfortable buying because you have a steady income.
It's the steady income, and I've just learned enough about kind of the market, if you will, that I feel more comfortable pulling the trigger. And when you see series like, we'll plug Retro Rick, the $10 game collection, where he's buying and selling things that aren't even games, like some DVDs, and Austin's the master of the calculators that you can flip easy, flip quick, get some money to add to the game fund. I'd have to defer to him on the tips, but there's ways to do this on a budget, which is what really let me dive in with some ease of mind.
So I've been doing that for years. I've been trying to talk other people into maybe feeling more comfortable spending the money on this stuff, but it's just hard when you have so many other priorities in life.
That's the thing.
With Scott, it's like what you just said with Retro Rick. I sent him that video series.
More propaganda.
Yeah, and now he's like, well, this is someone else actually doing it. You weren't lying.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like some more evidence to put in that. And it like I said, it made me excited to just go to some garage sales and whatnot. And we've always enjoyed just the little things of the collecting. Like when we go to like Taco Bell in the morning and like after we collect. And it's just, if you're having fun with your friends and you're having fun with the games and just the process itself of collecting, if it doesn't feel like a grind, I feel like that's all you can ask for with any hobby.
Yeah, you have to enjoy digging through dirty bins at garage sales or going to thrift stores, digging through all that stuff. You have to enjoy it, and like what I was saying earlier, I wanted someone to enjoy this with, so I don't think I would find it as fun if I hadn't gotten him into it and he got some more of his friends into it too.
Yeah, it's fun just chopping it up, like sharing memories about the same game with other people to compare your memories. And I mean, we could go on forever, but it's just really cool how the hobby came and how it's been really over like the majority of our lives. And you know, it'll be cool to see where the future kind of goes, and I will love to share like updates with the game room, and also like Austin down the road with getting his game room going and starting to share some of his gaming experiences with his daughter, because that's going to be really cool too.
Yep, that's sort of one reason I wanted to start collecting, so I could share it with any of my kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we'll probably keep some of these more casual videos coming. I was a little burnt out from doing going hard on the Pokemon Blue Nuzlocke for so long, but soon enough we'll be doing the real game hunting.
Yeah.
But I like Austin's idea of doing kind of the digging in his own treasure vault.
Yeah, that might be 3 or 4 years from now.
We'll see. We'll make it happen when the time is right.
Yeah, but, keep checking back on the channel because we might make some more of these videos just talking through stuff. Maybe some game hunting tips.
We'll keep the ball rolling, and I'd say for this one, just let us know like what your first gaming memory was, and if you are into collecting, what got you into collecting. Like for me, it was Star Tropics for both. So with that, I think we're gonna get the heck out of here and see you guys next time. Game Slam, signing off.